Good evening. Hey, once again, I'm back, and this is the message for tonight. And uh, I've got a lot to talk about. And I, you know, um, if you're new to my channel, my name is Jeff, of course, and I try to present everything as clear as I can so that it's easily understood. And I don't like to get off into anything lengthy or anything really heavy. I just like to keep everything simply based so it's understood by everybody. And I feel really, actually, I feel driven um, to talk about what's going on in the journey with my life and how it might relate to um, to others and to you in particular, whoever who is listening to me right now. So, um, there's many different levels to this stuff, and the origin of my topic was basically yoga. I started out as a yoga teacher probably about 30 years ago. I went to the first teacher training I went to was with yeah, Doug Swinson up in South Lake Tahoe, where I lived for about 10 years. And at that time, I was with my married to my first wife, and we lived. She was from Germany, and well, we skied a lot. We had a lot of fun, and things were a lot different for me back then. But anyway, so getting back to the original point, I went to the first teacher training um, back then, and that was with Doug Swinson. He's a famous Ashtanga yoga teacher. So that was two weeks, and quite an adventure. The second one I did about a couple years later, and which was in Valmarin, Quebec, which is near Montreal, and where I lived in the wilderness in a tent for about a month. And I can remember particularly about that one that I got up in the morning at 3 o'clock every day, and we did pranayama, which was breath work in the morning. So we got up, everybody got up, and we gathered down in their auditorium, the meeting room, and it was led by the swamis, and we all did the deep breathing. At that time, I really wasn't really serious, too serious, as much as I am now about the Christianity, and I didn't take it as seriously, although I've been a Christian since I've been like 5 years old. So um, where the yoga came in was this, I don't really know, but it was something that I wanted to do because I experienced some great yoga teachers in Santa Monica in LA when I lived there. And I just thought I'd always want to teach yoga. And I knew how good and beneficial it was for the body and to help you to feel better, to increase longevity, to keep you younger in this life. Isn't that everybody's aim? We all want to stay young, and we want to be vibrant. We better be rejuvenated. We want to be healthy. We want to have fun, and we want to be able to have fun. So to be able to have fun, we have to be young and healthy and feel good. So yeah, we have to feel good. So that's why I went into yoga, and I'm a people person. I like to get in front of people. I used to teach yoga in Reno and Los Angeles. I had like 50 to 100 people in my classes, and just look forward to getting up in front of the group. And it wasn't a show or a contest. It was just about being myself and trying to really help others. And I think once we figure this out in life, this is the biggest obstacle that most people have is, they haven't figured that out yet. And I think a lot of people are going the opposite direction, and they're living for themselves. So once they do wake up, there are a lot of people right now that are waking up. But once they do wake up, then it turns on a little light bulb in their head, and they say, oh, I wish I would have been doing that for a long time. I really could have done a lot more. I wish I knew now. I wish I knew then what I knew now. Isn't that what we always say? I wish I knew then what I knew now. And that's exactly how I feel. I wish I knew then. But I didn't know everything, but I tried. And I sometimes I succeeded, sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I backslid like we all do. Um, I regretted some of the things I did, but now, however, you gotta let that go. You gotta let everything go, and this is what I've learned. Don't hold on to anything. Whatever you did, you were supposed to do that. It was for a reason. Everything that we did. Uh, Everything that we did in this life, we can't regret it. Um, we can't say I should have done something else, or it was exactly the way I look at things, and it may not be the way that you do, but it certainly is the way that I look at things. That um, what we did at that particular given time in that given moment, whatever it was, whoever came in contact with, or whatever we said to them, was exactly what we're supposed to do. So the whole point in that is we don't, and we shouldn't carry that with us, because it becomes a burden on our soul, and it keeps us from moving forward. So the whole idea is to keep moving forward, keep our eyes focused on what's ahead. What is ahead for us, that we're not going to let the past interfere with what we're doing now. But we want to learn from the past. So we have to look at the past. We look at all the things that we did, the mistakes. We say, okay, I did that. It didn't work out so well. So now I'm going to do it a little differently. For me, it might have been getting with the wrong women. So getting sidetracked for 5-6 years, and so I said, okay, so the same presentation comes along again and presents itself, and I said, I made a mistake back then. It got me off my path, which is, the true calling for God to live for God. And that's what my personal calling, it may not be yours. But anyway, so those things, regrets, resentments, hostilities, all these things we hold on to can keep us from achieving our goals and our purpose. So, anyways, so as I moved on from the yoga, I went maybe several years, 20 years. And I just kind of did everything I wanted to have fun. That was my idea, have a good time. I want to have a good time. I have a song called that, by the way. But one of my favorite songs. I got off onto that, but some things lead you back. Something happens somewhere along the line that ticks off a bell and says, "Oh, you know what, Michael? Let's go a different way now, because this is what happened when you did this, and now the karmic, it's all in the Akashic records. Everything that we've done, is there, and we have to pay for everything we've done. All of this, no matter what, if it was good, if it was bad, if it was sort of bad, if it was real bad, maybe it was another lifetime, if you believe in that. We have to. There's a thing called karma, and so. Anyway, so I've had a lot of karma that I've had to deal with. So I've gone through the years, so now it leads me to this point. And so I just want to go briefly, and as we go on in the future videos that I will get to, I like to do a lot of videos and, a lot of different adventures, show what's going on and how it equates to what's going on maybe in your lives and such and such. But anyways, as we go on, I'll get to more things. But Anyway, so I've had to go through some pretty hard times in the last few years, which I believe was God calling me to, hey, come back, my son. You know, you're going off in the wrong direction. And, you know, it could have been that, you know, it could have been something else. But I believe that God, for his chosen ones and his children, like the little lost lamb, you know, that they talk about, that he talks about in Peter. You know, he searches for that that last single one that's left out there. You know, so God doesn't want to leave any of us. He loves every single one. You know, God has placed no favorites. No, God has no favorites. And so, long story short, so God called me back, and last week, I'll just talk about that for a minute. There's some other things that probably I'll talk about in future videos. But last week I almost died. And for like 2 weeks, I was in a horrendous state of, you know, not knowing what happened to me. And I don't know what caused it or what happened, but probably because I was on Ativan for a long time, for like 35 years, because I've always had panic and anxiety syndrome. And that now they're making it so you can no longer get that pill. And so the doctors don't want to give it to you. So they wouldn't give it to you anymore. So I'm like fighting with the pharmacy, fighting with the doctors, trying to get the drug. Finally, I just said, you know what, you know, rather than putting me in the middle, I just said, okay. So I went to my doctor, who is Dr. Chong, a wonderful Asian doctor. And I said, okay, you know, I don't need a psychiatrist. You know, they say, well, you have to go to a psychiatrist to, you know, if you want to continue taking this pill, because that's the only way you can get it. You know, I can't give you that. So I said, no, I don't need a psychiatrist, you know, but I just can't stop the pill. The hospitals, you know, they wouldn't give it to me. So I was in bad shape. And so the doctor said, well, I'll give you, you know, we'll put you on a program to taper off. So that's kind of where it left me. And so I said, okay. So I completely stopped it. Not that I wanted to. I was doing fine on the other, yeah, I'd been on it so long. So I think it was a shock to my system. So they put me on Valium, which is diazepam, which I take a little bit of that every day now, because I got off the Ativan. And I think it did something to my cardiovascular system. But anyways, it caused my heart to go down to like, I looked at it one night and I said, you know, what's going on? It's 45. You know, normally my heart rate is like 85 every time I look at it. And you know, because I do check, you know, I'm really good at checking my pulse, and I monitor myself. And anyway, so it got worse and worse and worse. And pretty soon I couldn't even walk 100 yards. I was out of breath. I couldn't work out. And I got so dizzy, I felt like I was going to pass out. I could not even go to the store. Meanwhile, you know, not to mention, you know, and I don't know this, but there's a lot of solar flares and a lot of things coming at us right now. So that could have contributed. Maybe it wasn't going off the Ativan at all. But anyways, long story short, I wound up in the hospital, and I almost expired. I remember them wheeling, you know, so I had 7 nurses around me and doctors. You know, last time I remember, I was on the table, and the night before, I had this problem with urinating, and I had everything. They wouldn't give me any water like the night before, and you know, and you're waiting for it to come out, and you'd have this pressure, and it was just like agonizing. And then in the meantime, you know, I was throwing up because they gave me this medicine and, you know, all this, and so I was trying to get up to go to the bathroom, and I was getting dizzy. I felt like I was going to pass out. I was so, I had all these things coming at me, and I couldn't urinate, and I was in pain. The doctor said to me the next day, um, you know what, your heart's going all over the place. You're up to 100, you're down to 30, you're back up to 56, you're going all over the place. It's up to you. I said, well, my heart, I did see it steady, and it was back at like 60, 65. And I said, maybe I can go, maybe I don't need to do this procedure that you want me to do. And they said, no, if we send you home, you're probably going to die. If we don't do this procedure. So anyways, they said, Jeff, we're going to have to, send our staff home. We need you to make a decision. So I had to make a split decision. So they were wheeling me off into the operating room. I had 10 nurses, and all I can remember is saying, I was praying, and this is what I'm talking about. This brings your attention back to what to your origin, and to this brings you back to God, and it in your last minutes, if you're a Christian, some people don't have that time; they die in a split second, and we don't know what happened. They go one place or the other. There's no middle ground here. And that's what I believe. Everybody has a different belief, but this is what the Bible speaks about. And so I said in that last, those minutes before they put the oxygen mask on me, and I felt this incredible urge to have to go to the bathroom to urinate. And I said, wait a minute, hey, I have to go to the bathroom, and you're putting the oxygen on me, and like, what's going on? They said, okay, that's okay. We can drain your bladder. You'll be okay. So anyways, I woke up, and I woke up after the surgery, and I was okay. So it was, I literally almost died. If I elected not to do this procedure, I would have died. Most certainly, although the doctor said they don't have a crystal ball, so they don't know for sure. But they said, best case scenario, you would have wound up back in the hospital, and you'd have to repeat the whole procedure. Anyway, so as I move on, and I'm going to end this message in a bit. And for those of you that, if you're still with me, that means, that you're into what I'm saying, and that maybe this resonates with you. Maybe that some of this stuff that I'm talking about, maybe some of you have had some experiences like that. It may have been something else. It may have been a car accident. You might have, gotten real sick. You may be feeling real sick right now. Maybe you have things that are coming at you, left and right, and you don't know what's going on right now. You may be flat on your back. You don't know. But right now, we're going through horrendous changes on this planet. The planet, it's gone. We're going through a rebirth. That's moving into the fifth dimension, into the age of Aquarius. And some of us, are able to adapt, and some of us are not. Some of us simply don't want to. We say, I liked it in the third dimension. I had my work, and I had my TVs, and I had my protocol that I did every day. I had my friends. I played tennis. So I met the guys out on the tennis court, and I played, on the golf course, and I had my fun. I want to just keep doing what I've been doing. Well, with all these changes, our spirits, our bodies have to adapt to these changes that are happening in the upper atmosphere, and so the electromagnetic spectrum right now, the gamma rays are coming at us like so fast that it's so many people are going into shock. They're getting sick. They're getting this cancer, whatever kind of disease, you name it. So and it happened to me firsthand. So I'm right here to tell you that. So in those last moments, I cried out, God, God, Lord, Lord, help me. I just want to be right with you, and I would, and in your last minutes, when you're desperate, that's when most people will cry out to God, even if they've never known God before in their life. Some people in that desperation, and God knew that before the beginning of time. He knew, who would call out to him and who wouldn't. God knows everything. He knows the number of hairs on your head. He knows every single mountain, every single waterfall, everything about the oceans, and God is in everything. Everything is governed by God. Um, so, um, and he knew that with me, that by going through some of these trials, that I would turn, and it would mold me, and it would make me stronger. And particularly, that's could be a big reason why I've had to go through a lot of the trials that I've had to go through, because I've prayed to God to, I want to get stronger. I want to have more faith. So, do with me what you want. Take me through the furnace, through the fire, through the desert. So, that I can learn and I can be stronger in you, and I can tell other people about, some of the experiences on my journey. So, anyways, that's really all I wanted to talk about tonight, and just to give you a little bit of a background of what's been going on with me. So now I'm feeling a lot better, but I still, it's up and down. Every day is different, and I'm sure that I'm sure that with a lot of you, it's the same thing. You may be going through, some problems with your legs. Maybe it's in your back. And, maybe you got a sore neck that, you see, it's one side, then it's the other side, then it's your head, you don't know what it is. But we've got so many things coming at us left and right, up and down, all around, into town. They're all coming at us, and we don't know how to handle this. So, so the main thing is we have to learn how to adapt, and we have to change. We have to fight. We have to be so vigilant and live in the moment, and keep and to be steadfast in our prayer to God. Say, God, okay, what is it that I need to do? Do I need to make a change in my diet? Do I need to make a change in my lifestyle? Maybe it's something that we're doing wrong, or you're doing wrong, or certainly it's been things that I've been doing wrong, so I have to change. I've had to make changes and adaptations, and you might not necessarily want to. Maybe it's you like to go to your to the bar at 11 o'clock at night, and that's been your pattern. And now that you're feeling sick, every time you do that, you say, why am I feeling sick? I got this headache, and I've been drinking too much, and I can't take this. But some people they don't make a change, and they just stay right where they are. Some people, they're going the wrong way. They're going down the one-way street in the opposite direction. So other of us make the change, and so some of us, we make it into this new, the new dimension, and others, they won't, and just because they're not willing, they're just not there yet. And I'm sure a lot of people like that. You can talk to them till the cows come home. You can say, look, there's things going on and on and on. Get out, and then call you. They say, that guy's insane. He's an idiot. And then people don't like you. Have you experienced that? Have you experienced that? Some people just don't like you. And you're wondering why, I didn't say anything. Well, I had that happen to me a couple of weeks ago. A guy started screaming at me in the restaurant that I was at. He's saying, you can't. I was already out the door. Walk 125 yards away with my back turned, and he says to me, he starts yelling at me and screaming at me out of nowhere and saying, you know what, you know, this is this is not a public restroom and you can't do this. It's only for paying customers. And then I turned around at him and I started to come back. Uh, and and I said, well, who the heck are you? Who are you? And then he looked at me and then he just ran away. And, and I've had lots of experiences like that lately. I don't know, has it happened to you? Have any of you out there had those kind of experiences? But anyways, so, with that in mind, so anyways, we have to change. We have to make allowances. We have to love our brother, no matter what they do. This is what the Bible commands. Matthew 22. Love your neighbor as thyself. Love your brother. Put your neighbor in front of you. And this is one more thing before I close tonight. I just will say that before you judge somebody, before you come up against your neighbor, somebody does something you don't like, or whatever, and we're quick to judge. That guy's an idiot, whatever it may be, or I don't like that person or whatever. So I have to say, and this is what I do. I say, you know what? I'm probably a bigger sinner. I'm probably worse than they are. And so that right there, that snaps me back in and say, you know what? I got to love my brother. I don't judge him. And then I think that's the right way to live. That's what the Bible commands and teaches. But anyways, I will cut off for tonight, and I hope to talk to all of you. There'll be another message tomorrow night. And so until then, peace be with you. God bless. And Jeff out.